Ah! Ah! Hey,
Hi.
welcome to the Pinfall Podcast. I'm your host, Liz. I'm really tired. And I'm joined, as always, by my co host, Marcus. And it's a Smackdown night.
I look especially pink today.
You look pink, I look shiny, nobody's winning.
I
We're
look
all
shiny
losing.
too.
I am, like, genuinely, like, very greasy today. It's kind of annoying.
Me too.
I had, a book club meeting today. And I was kind of, like, the person spearheading it. But I noticed how often, whenever I talk about myself, I just go, at the end of all my stories, and I don't know why.
Welcome to the Pinfall Podcast.
I already did that part.
Yeah, but you said that and then we strayed way off.
Well, yeah, because it's it's warming the people up. It's bringing them in. Like,
It's like when you open the
you don't.
doors and you have like the elevator music playing during
Well,
the
it's like you don't
concert.
like invite somebody into a party and you're like, "This is the food. This is the music." You're like, "Oh, how was the drive? How are you? Are you doing good? How are the kids?" Cheryl.
I immediately show them the drinks and the food. I don't make small talk like that. Who am I inviting to a party that I would small talk with?
You not like talk with people like when you're bringing them up the stairs to our
I
apartment.
talk to people? Me. No, I ask how they are, and then I say, "Hey, here's the food."
This is the equivalent of me saying, "How are you?"
So this is SmackDown.
I already said that too.
Let's cut right to the chase. Demon Finn Balor is back.
Thank God. I mean, not really, but like kind of. I don't
Well,
know how to feel. I feel a lot though.
come Extreme Rules, we'll see if it's thank God or oh no.
It would fuck him up.
If he loses as Demon, I'm fine with that because it would put the Demon at a more equal level to Finn himself. Um, but they could say the Demon's more restrained or more unrestrained than Finn. But in terms of like power and everything, they're kind of the same.
I'm happy to see him back. I miss the tendrils.
It's very cool to see this Finn back. It's very cool. Um,
Yes.
so
It was like old times.
this was the 9/11 dedicated SmackDown in Madison Square Garden. Um, Brock Lesnar is back. He appeared for the first time since his appearance at SummerSlam, and didn't make a whole lot of an impact. You know, for them like hyping the show up, it didn't seem like a huge show. You know,
I was confused because it was originally supposed to be a massive like show with both Raw and SmackDown. Like Drew was supposed to be there tonight. And then they just kind of said, "Nah."
yeah, it was like a super SmackDown, right?
Yeah.
Super SmackDown in New York City. Yeah, Friday, September 10th. Bobby Lashley, Drew McIntyre, Charlotte Flair were supposed to be there. John Cena, John Cena was supposed to be here. Like
The
they
cat
still.
just bonked her fucking head, by the way.
Oh,
She came down on the lever for the chair.
oh.
You're
But
silly. Oh,
yeah,
gosh.
they marketed Super SmackDown Friday, September 10th. Well, it says 7:45 p.m. So maybe they had those people come out before SmackDown. You know, normally when they do the dark stuff, and they had the Raw people do some things for the crowd.
It's entirely possible.
Here's how we'll know. Here's how we'll know.
Okay.
I'm gonna check cagematch.net, see if today's SmackDown had any of that. No, doesn't look like it. Let's see. Oh yeah, under the search for Super Smackdown, is Super Smackdown canceled?
Do you think they just didn't realize it was gonna be on 9/11?
Maybe.
They were like, we probably shouldn't do this on this day because like it's not about us.
I feel like it would have been the
Even though
perfect
they still
time.
made it about them.
Because like you have two hyped up aspects in the 9/11 memorial show, plus Raw superstars are gonna be there. Throw it all into one, make like a super hyped up show, Super Smackdown. How could you write down the date September 10th and not realize it's 9/11?
Maybe they go by like the first Friday of September we're doing this, and the second Friday we're doing this, and then there's 4 Fridays, so we'll do this one on the 3rd, and then on the 4th, the Extreme Rules.
You think they plan that much?
Listen, I mean, that's probably a good reasoning why they didn't.
They can barely plan the night of. All right, so it was a good show, in my opinion. I thought it was a lot of fun. Great match between Seth and Edge. That concluded a great storyline between them. We had the tag titles defended.
Included Edge's WWE career as well, probably.
Well, we'll see. He might return as the Brood, or go to AEW, or NXT. But we had the tag team titles defended, and it ended in DQ with Roman choking out Tez, I think. And then we had a 10-man match to start off. It wasn't the best I know there's a lot of hype on Twitter around this episode, but I don't know. I didn't love it. I just thought it was good.
It was an episode of television.
Yeah, like it was definitely better than I have it better than the past 5 Smackdowns, so that's something. But I mean, Brock coming in and challenging Roman, that was cool. Becky and Bianca's thing, that was pretty cool. First match, the 10-man match, was alright. Seth and Edge was awesome. And then the tag team match was pretty good. It was fun.
It wasn't bad.
Wasn't the worst.
I've experienced worse.
Wasn't anywhere as bad as Raw. But yeah. You wanna get into the news before we talk more about the episode?
Yeah. Let me pull up the news and change the sign.
Also, Mets and Yankees are playing right now.
Huh?
Mets and the Yankees are playing right now.
Mark's only going to talk about baseball on this podcast because the Mets are beating the Yankees.
Yeah. It's the top of the 9th right now.
We don't need to know.
Mets are winning 10-3.
We don't need to know. Nobody cares, Mark. This is a wrestling podcast.
Aww. Says you who freaks out about baseball games.
This is a wrestling podcast? I'm sorry.
Alright, then let's get into the wrestling. Come on.
I had to put up a sign.
Uh-huh. This is a wrestling podcast, not a sign podcast.
I've had this much sleep. means I'm this close to snapping.
When's Extreme Rules?
I mean, it's fucking apartment about 5.
It's at the end of the month. The last Sunday of September. So can't wait to do predictions for that.
It'll be a time. Anywho, wrestling news. Let's start with on WWE news, which is Christopher Daniels. Did we talk about this last week? I feel like we did, and I can't remember if it was us talking about it privately or on here.
Christopher Daniels,
Yeah.
that he's getting it. He's making his re-debut. Or he's coming back. We talked about
I don't know
that
if we talked about on here.
on our own.
Okay, so Christopher Daniels announced his in-ring return. He is going to be at Defy Wrestling's at their Hellbent show next month. He's actually going to be fighting the person that seems to be fighting everybody lately, which is Daniel Garcia.
Dude is he's going to the top. Like, what happened to where Daniel Garcia is suddenly at the top of every marquee?
He came out of fucking nowhere. Not to say that he's not a good wrestler, because he is. But it's just like, he came out of nowhere, and overnight it feels like he's just like, everyone's wrestling this dude.
I know he has a long history with the indies, but like, it's one thing to go from the indies and go to like the mid card of AEW or WWE, but this dude came right from the indies and has been getting involved with Sting, CM Punk, Jon Moxley, Darby Allin, Christopher Daniels. Who else did he fight? He fought some other big names. Minoru Suzuki he's gonna be fighting. Like, I feel like did he fight Jay White too? Or David Finlay, somebody like that?
May have been Finlay. He also called out Kojima. I was like,
dude needs to team up with Mox and just take on all of Japan.
It feels like that's kind of his like backup plan at this point. It's like his like day job.
Yeah.
Other pieces of news include WWE news. First thing is there was a backstage reaction to the new Capitol Wrestling Center. Apparently the talent's into it, and I'm not sure that the talent would say if they weren't into it.
I mean, look, I'm gonna be honest. I from like the little teasers they're giving, I think it looks pretty cool. It's definitely nowhere near as soulless as the main roster arenas. It's more than just a giant LED board. And at the end of the day, as long as the wrestling's good, who cares what the arena looks like?
Yeah.
I mean, nothing's gonna be fucking Daly's Place. Daly's
It
Place
doesn't need to be.
What I'm saying is Daly's Place looks amazing. It looks fantastic. I mean, all of AEW's arenas look great, but not all of them can be like that. Sometimes you got to be NXT UK and be in fucking BT. What were they? BT Sports Studio or something? Or is that Impact?
BT.
Yeah.
I don't believe it's BTE.
Well,
I think it was called that they wouldn't be allowed to be there.
well, they're killing it on over there in their little.
You just need live crowds. I don't know what the COVID situation is in the UK right now. I'm sure it is not much better than what it is here.
It's bad.
But it would just, that's the one thing that they're missing at this point, because like, and yeah, I guess fair wages, but anyways, because there's one part where I can tell where the audio loops. So every time I'm watching a match, I hear the same like high pitch like "yay" in the background like 400 times. And I'm like, I can't fucking watch this. And it's like fucking like Clockwork Orange or some shit. Brainwashing me.
Yeah. Anyway, what were we talking about? Oh, the news. Right.
Yeah, the news. Also, we have finalized dates for WWE Fun Times. That is October 1st is the SmackDown draft. October 4th is the Raw draft. October 8th is the SmackDown season premiere. And finally, the King of the Ring and Queen of the Ring kickoffs. King and Queen of the Ring kickoffs happen on the SmackDown premiere. The finals are going to take place on October 21st in Saudi Arabia.
Early prediction. Who do you think's gonna win each of those?
Uh, 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 I don't know. Who wrestles?
Wrestlers. You want me to give mine first?
Yeah.
I think Xavier Woods is gonna win the King of the Ring, and Shayna Baszler is gonna win Queen of the Ring.
Okay.
Or maybe Liv Morgan.
Maybe Liv. I could almost see that. Yeah, I don't really have anybody that I could like pull out of like thin air.
Mm-hmm.
I'll think on it.
Corbin.
Do you have anybody?
Corbin wins again.
Imagine. Other pieces of news. VM mode is set to return in WWE 2K22. Yeehaw. How pokes.
You're freezing a bit if you want to switch networks.
I literally don't want to.
You want to keep freezing? I mean, that's fine. As long as you're fine with it. Like, I can't.
You're gonna freeze, and I'm gonna be stuck.
I could hear you for a little bit there. No. How's Chad doing? Let's talk shit about Liz while she can't hear us. I think she's talking. I think she can hear me. But she can't hear you guys. So feel free to say as much shit as you want. Oh, okay. Is she back?
It doesn't stop. It happens every fucking time.
There she is. See, no freezing.
Hey, you.
Oh. Sorry, I said something. Normally it fixes it. Like, this is the first time where it hasn't fixed it.
Yeah, but here's the thing, Mark. We've had to do this like 2 or 3 times now.
This is the third time.
Yeah. So really, I don't know what it is, but it's not the internet because I keep jumping back and forth. It's not like I jump to one and then like after the podcast is I switch back. I'm just like alternating.
I'm just assuming your laptop does
time.
what mine does, where it will automatically switch to the other one if it's better. Or
no,
better.
no. I mean, if it does, I don't notice it, but...
Alright, so more news.
I still have more news. Kushida and his whole family have COVID. Had COVID. Had. That is why we have not seen Kushida in a hot minute. Ideally, we will see him sometime soon, and he will have the Pat McAfee treatment of gone for a little while, comes back pretty shortly thereafter. I miss him. And then I believe our last piece of news, if I'm not mistaken, and perhaps one of the biggest pieces of news that I didn't actually hear much of, is Darling Dear's Trips. Mr. Triple H was taken to the hospital earlier this week because he had a cardiac event He's fine, obviously. Um, but I guess it was like a genetic heart condition.
Mm-hmm.
And
He's expected to make a full recovery.
yeah, he's gonna be fine. It's just one of those things where it's like, I didn't hear anything about it until you said something, like I think like the day after or something, and I was like,
Yeah, and there were some people saying that that's the reason why Vince wasn't at Raw this past Monday. It was because he was probably visiting Triple H and Stephanie, making sure they were all okay.
yes, I don't know, but I'm glad he is okay. I would have been lost without Triple H.
A cardiac event could also just be like an irregular palpitation. Might not necessarily mean like cardiac arrest. If it was cardiac arrest, they would have said cardiac arrest.
Yeah, no, cardiac arrest is usually one of those one and done type deals.
Yeah, but the fact that he's gonna make a full recovery is very good to hear.
I get heart palpitations sometimes. Should I be worried?
I mean, I get heart palpitations. I had it checked out, and the doctor came to zero conclusion.
Yeah, modern medicine.
You remember when I had the heart monitor strapped to me for like a week?
Yeah, you're Iron Man.
Yeah.
Well, that's all I have for you today. That's about it,
All
Captain.
Right. You want to get into the recap?
Yeah.
Wasn't a ton today. 3 matches in total. Just I think the Edge and Seth promo had like, I saw on Twitter like 35 minutes dedicated to it. Like, if so, that is crazy.
That was my favorite part of tonight, so I'm fine with that.
Yeah. Alright, so we started off with Roman Reigns and the Bloodline in the ring. And Roman says, when it comes to sports entertainment, WWE runs New York City. And who runs WWE? Paul says, the Tribal Chief. You run WWE. Roman says, the Tribal Chief and the Bloodline run WWE. Therefore, the Tribal Chief runs New York City, which means the Tribal Chief runs Madison Square Garden. Acknowledge me. And there were even some people in the background, like, doing the bow, just proving that fucking Roman is not getting boos. But then, at least in New York. Then Brock Lesnar comes out, and the Usos stand in between Brock and Roman. Paul Heyman says over Roman's shoulder, Brock, I fail to understand. I have one question. Of all the championships, why the Universal title? Brock then answers with, I got a question for you, Paul. Why didn't you tell Roman I was going to be at SummerSlam? And there's a big gasp from everyone, and Paul says, I didn't know, Roman. You're my tribal chief. The Bloodline then just leaves the ring. And then once they leave, Paul Heyman's standing in the ring with Brock, and he says, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Paul Heyman, and for 20 years I was the advocate for the reigning, defending, undisputed WWE heavyweight champion of the world, Brock Lesnar. And Brock says, that was great, Paul, just like old times. But before Roman fires you, accept my challenge, please. And Paul's just like, what challenge? And Brock says, my shot at Roman Reigns for the Universal Championship. And then Paul stammers. He's like, I'm not sure I can do that. Like, Roman and I are a little close, and he'll spear me But then Brock starts to give an F5 to Paul. He gets him on his shoulders in a fireman's carry. But then Roman comes out, Superman punch to Brock, still dropping Paul. The Usos give some super kicks to Brock, but Brock responds with a clothesline to both of them and starts suplexing the Usos. Takes him to Suplex City. And then we get an interview with the Bloodline after commercial. The Roman and the Usos ignore what's her name? Oh, it was Kayla. It was Kayla that did this. They ignore Kayla. Paul says, "You heard Brock's challenge, right? Here you are, hanging out in the hallways, ambushing us. My tribal chief will answer Brock's challenge when the tribal chief deems it appropriate to answer the challenge of Brock Lesnar." And then we go back to the ring for Shinsuke Nakamura, Rick Boogs, Dominic Mysterio, Rey Mysterio, and Big E versus Sami Zayn, Otis, Dolph Ziggler, Robert Roode, and Apollo Crews. 10-man tag.
This is what I get. It's literally all my fault.
Yeah, you said after the last Impact yesterday, you said, "Thank God we don't have to do an Impact podcast because of all these 10-man tags." And look at you now. Welcome, Kayla. How you doing? Yeah. Wished it upon yourself.
You brought this upon me. A monster. Anyways, I don't have very good notes for this because how could you fucking take notes on a 10-man tag match?
Yeah.
I feel like the one that Impact does will be much better.
Yeah, especially since it's on a pay-per-view, right? It's on Victory Road. No, I think it's next week.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Okay. Shinsuke starts off. He's attacking Rude, sends him free at the ring. Otis then sends Shinsuke out. Shinsuke and Sagiri's Chad, who's standing ringside with Aziz. Because I guess he just didn't make the cut today. Becomes like a bit of a hubbub after that. Yeah. Because Shinsuke's like lying on the ground after the Enziguri. Everyone from his team comes over, everyone from the other team comes over, and they're all just kind of like standing around, not doing anything.
Meanwhile, Big E comes over to the stairs on the opposite corner and reaches with his foot to just shove Chad Gable over. Chad doesn't even acknowledge it. And Kayla, to answer your question, today's Smackdown was good. Better than the past 5. It was pretty good.
I love feeling like I want to watch Rampage for like a little bit, like while we're doing this. Mm-hmm. Just on the side. I get fucking Max Caster and I've got to deal with that. All my funds ruined now. Days.
I want to do what you're doing and watch it like while we're doing this, but I need the sound. I need to hear it. I can't with these headphones. That's why I don't
really mind rewatching it with you. You know, I'm not getting the full experience this way. I'm really just tonight. I was really just in it to see if they added more to Grand Slam.
Okay.
Which so far they haven't. Anywho, so Otis whips Shinsuke into the corner. We get Sammy versus Shinsuke post commercial break. Ray gets in, hits a seated senton onto Zayn, and then a Canadian Destroyer. Funny.
Because it destroyed Sami Zayn.
Sammy. Huh?
Because it destroyed Sami Zayn.
Similar to another Canadian Destroyer. It's Kevin.
Yeah.
Anywho. Whatever. So Canadian Destroyer Zayn, Apollo blocks the cover.
We forgot to mention Sammy's special guest.
Oh, yeah, he comes in at some point in here.
Before the match started, Sammy brought Trae Young from the Hawks to the ring. Because he stood in the ring before the match started and was like, trying to work up the crowd, you know, doing what a face does, but as a heel. And he's like, I have a special guest, Trae Young. And the crowd fucking hated it because Trae Young is on the Hawks and they just beat the Knicks. I think they ruined like a streak. I don't know. I'm not a basketball fan.
Yeah, we had to have it explained to us.
Yeah. Luckily, Michael Cole also explained it.
I didn't. Trae Young is there. Trae Young's doing the best he can, dude. He played it up pretty well.
Yeah. But it's also them trying to get another basketball player while AEW, I forget his name. They got the other guy, that super tall guy. Fuck, I can't remember his name.
Yeah, again, don't watch enough basketball to know that. Speaking of super tall, Hikuleo was on fucking Impact. Did not realize that man was that big.
Really?
He stood behind Chris Bay and I said, oh, okay.
It was Giannis. I'm gonna butcher this to shit, but Antetokounmpo. Giannis. That's who was on AEW. And this is WWE's response.
Which is kind of goofy.
Miriam said not even close. I tried.
You did your best, bud. Yeah, I'm on a wrestling note,
mm-hmm.
on a tall person wrestling note. I'm very excited to see Hikuleo do more in Impact.
Yeah.
I was like, in action, I was like, well, that's a man. And then he stood next to Chris, and I was like,
if you're not watching Impact and you're a wrestling fan, you definitely should be watching Impact. Some of the best wrestling.
Impact is like, that's a wrestling fans promotion, I think, right now. And I think Ring of Honor will be that again once they have fans. I think it's still hard to not have fans at this point in time.
Ring of Honor is also tough because they don't have a solid air time.
Yeah. Ring of Honor, when the fuck do you air besides us watching? Like, we can watch the most recent episodes on Fight.
Mm-hmm.
Which is handy, for sure. But we have a channel that plays Ring of Honor, so it definitely plays the episodes that are live, and we don't know when the fuck they happen.
Anyway.
So if you know when Ring of Honor starts, you let me know.
Anyway.
Back to what we're talking about. So then Boogs attacks Apollo, Otis attacks him, Big E attacks Otis, Roode attacks Big E, Ray attacks Bobby Roode, Trae Young then interferes, pulling Ray against the ropes, like chin first. Which I was like, damn. And he put up like a pretty good fight when he got thrown out. I was like, oh, buddy, you did a good job. Good for you.
Yeah. I'm seeing from basketball fans on Reddit that like Trae Young is actually like a heel in New York, like probably the biggest heel in NBA in New York.
Good for him. Again, I don't watch basketball. This means nothing to me. But I'm glad he's having fun. Like a nice guy. Outside of being a heel. So yeah, Ray and Dom are in together. They get a Sammy into the 619 position. They hit a double 619. And then Big E gets in, hits the big ending to Sammy for his side of Merry Men to win.
Yes. Yes. Yeah, I mean, the best thing about this match was that it was short. We got a lot of good character moments out of it, too. Miriam said it's brave of WWE to get him there because New York fans would have shot that man. He's that much of a menace. Yeah, I mean, that's a genius move, though. Like, that's really smart.
I liked how much he played up to the crowd, but I kind of wish I understood.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't get it. I don't know.
It,
I don't
it's
even know
like
when basketball starts or ends. I don't know if they're doing it now.
it's like what's the Red Sox player's name? The talkie dude.
Oh, Bregman?
No, not Bregman. Um, the dude who likes to chat with the crowd.
Alex Bregman.
No, it's Verdugo. Verdugo.
Ah!
It's like
Why
if
was I thinking, who the
it's like
fuck
if
is Bregman?
I have no clue.
Bregman's on the Astros.
It's like if Verdugo or Astros if Altuve came to Madison Square Garden.
Actually, you know what? If Alex Bregman came to Madison Square Garden, he'd probably also get the shit beaten out of him.
Yeah.
Chatty little motherfucker. I'd beat the shit out of him.
All right. So after that, we had the contract signing between Bianca Belair and Becky Lynch. Bianca says, "Imagine me coming all this way. I wasn't expecting a title match with Becky. We all know how great she is. I have the utmost respect for Becky. The only thing I can say the most about her is that she would never run from a fight. But things have changed. If we went toe-to-toe, the outcome would be different. I don't respect Becky as much as I used to. She can win back some of the respect when I win back my championship." She signs the contract, and I think Adam Pearce or Sonya said, "Wow, this is going very smoothly." And then Becky Lynch comes out, and she says, "The original WrestleMania main eventer has arrived. You can be a fan or you can be the man. No shame in buying a ticket and sitting with them. I told you I would give her a match when I was ready." She's saying that to Sonya and Pierce. "I was gonna beat her in 20 seconds, but now we won't know. What if I didn't sign this? Maybe I don't want to sign this." And Bianca says, "Sign the damn contract." And Becky says, "I was sitting at home watching you chant, 'We want Becky.' I came back on last minute notice and saved all of your asses, and this is how you treat me. I left a baby girl at home for you. Fine, if you can't join them, beat them. It's gonna end the same way." And she throws the contract at Bianca, but Bianca catches it. She's not falling for that again, not after Sasha. Wasn't there also a contract signing between Bianca and Sasha before SummerSlam?
Yeah.
And is the contract null and void, like, if Sasha doesn't show up?
Yeah, I guess so.
Because, like, that contract was there. I feel like you can't just run in and take it. It's the whole Cena thing again.
I like how she phrased, "I left a baby girl at home." It's like, did you? Your husband's also here. Did you leave it? Did you leave the baby with someone, or is it just at home?
It's just there. I mean, Colby's
the run of the house.
Colby's in New York. That baby is still in Idaho, or wherever the fuck they're from.
I like that we just assume because Colby's from Idaho, it's like,
It's probably Florida.
they got me doing it. Because Seth's from Idaho, it's like, well, yeah, that's where the family is.
Mm-hmm. Then we get Paul Heyman backstage. Shotzi and Knox are in the background on their tank, and they're like, "Hey, you want to ride?" And then they're like, "Oh, never mind, let's ride off." And Kayla surprises him out of nowhere, and he says, "All you do is nag, poke, poke. The tribal chief is going to witness his cousins defend the Smackdown Tag Team Championships, and then live the tribal chief. What? And then the tribal chief tonight will answer the challenge of Brock Lesnar. And then live, the tribal chief tonight will answer the challenge of Brock Lesnar. Don't you just love a good cliffhanger?" And then Biggie, Paul turns the corner. Biggie's standing there, like, just cackling one more time.
It's not even cackling now. It's just like,
Oh god. But he never answered the challenge. He never answered Brock's challenge. So then we get Then we get Edge versus Seth Rollins.
Yeehaw, cowpoke. Said that twice today. Alright, my head is pounding.
Are you okay?
No.
Do you want me to take over?
No.
Okay.
Sometimes I like do that voice and I feel like you can't hear what I'm saying. Like I feel like it's just in my nose. Anywho, sinus pressure aside.
Just come over here, pass me your notes, and then we'll be good. I'll take over.
I inhaled my spit. My bad. Let me try this again. So Seth wrenches Edge's arm. He gets a head scissors submission on Edge, right into a side headlock on Rollins. There's a dropkick from Rollins to Edge. Then a drop toe hold sends Rollins face first into the turnbuckle. Rollins then goes shoulder first into the ring post across from that. Afterwards, we get a knee to the face of Rollins, who's on the apron, and then a knee to the face of Edge through the ropes. Back in the ring, Seth gets a jump knee to the spine of Edge. Rollins then hits Edge, who is now ringside, with a suicide dive out onto him. As we're ringside, Seth just drives Edge into the barricade, gets him back in the ring, hits him with a glancing knee off the top rope. We sort of get like an elbow lock. I don't know how to describe it. On Edge. And then a dragon screw to his leg. And the whole point was that Seth was kind of like... Seth had learned not to just focus on the neck, to like focus on dismantling every other part of Edge's body. Edge attempts an enziguri to Rollins. Can't quite get it. Rollins gets a pretty messy glam slam to Edge, and then manages a second one. Does it much better the second time. Doesn't quite phase Edge. Edge tries to go for the Edge-o-matic instead. But I love this because Seth hits Edge with Edge's wife's move.
Twice.
And Edge hits Seth with Triple H's move. I was like, so by comparison, is it because like, you know, Seth is the most important person to Edge, so like obviously it's gonna suck if you use that against him. And therefore, does that make Triple H the most important person to Seth?
I think it's just because Becky doesn't really have any recognizable moves.
She has the disarmer.
What's that?
It's not too much different from a bank statement or a yes lock.
Oh. You see, I was just thinking like the move she did on Becky, which was just like the Rock's Uranagi or whatever it's called.
I mean,
The move she did on Bianca.
Yeah, okay. You said Becky.
Ah.
Yeah. I was very confused. Like, wait, who the fuck we're talking about now?
Marion said that's Edge's way of saying best wishes to Paul in his recovery.
You know what? Give him those well wishes. Bless you, Mr. Levesque.
But you want to know why I like the one thing this match did wrong, or it did poorly? It buried 3 moves. Yeah, 3 moves. It buried the Glam Slam because Edge kicked out of it twice. The Pedigree because Seth kicked out, and there was another move that I can't remember. I think it was a spear. I think Seth kicked out of the spear.
Yes, he did. My question though is, does it really count if it's not the person who kind of like trademarked the move?
That's a good point. Like it kind of solidifies the fact that whoever uses their finisher is like the best one to use it, and that's why it's good. But that is no excuse for the spear.
Sure. The spear is, unfortunately. So we get a full Nelson Slam, 2 Rollins. Edge goes up top. Seth scrambles up there, hits Edge with a superplex. Seth. No, he doesn't. No, he fucking doesn't. Why am I saying shit like this? Seth scrambles up to meet Edge up top. He wants the superplex. He does not get it. He gets sent down into a pancake. Edge goes to jump onto him, but Seth gets his boots up. Edge stops himself before he hits him. Sets up for a semi sort of like sharpshooter. He can't quite get it because he's like off to like Seth's side. Sends him headfirst. Seth sends him headfirst into the buckles instead. We get an execution to Seth. Edge wants the spear, but Rollins ends up blocking it. Counters with a neck breaker. Seth then goes for the stomp and gets hoisted onto Edge's shoulders and brought down in a sit-out powerbomb. Seth then goes up top, or is brought up top, I think. Edge goes up top to meet him, goes for the superplex. Seth slips down, buckle bombs Edge into the far buckle. He wants the stomp again, but Edge spears him. Rollins obviously kicks out. We get a low blow to Edge, and then a kick to the knee, and then the face of Edge. And finally we get a couple super kicks, and, well, you know how it goes.
Yeah. I'm seeing a lot of talk on Twitter, or rather the opposite of talking. A lot of silence on Twitter from a lot of the women on Smackdown. Like, I showed you Zelina Vega's tweet. Liv Morgan just tweeted ... because there's no women's matches this week for the second week in a row.
Yep.
It's like you have this giant 10-man match for no reason at all. You can't just throw in like something like Liv Morgan and Tony Storm, or like Tony and Zelina, something like. Come on, it's a 2-hour show.
You brought back one of the most recognizable women in WWE, and that was basically the death knell for your women's division.
They said no other women matter besides Becky.
Incredible.
Yeah. But regardless, this match was a lot of fun. The worst part, I didn't mention what Zelina's tweet was. She'd come up with this great gear, and if you watch Naruto, she did a gear based on the Akatsuki with like all black with the red clouds and everything. Really cool stuff, and she posted 3 pictures of that with the caption "Never mind." Like, fuck. That's fucking awful. But
it's embarrassing.
Yeah, like you have a 2-hour show, you can't show.
Also, especially hot on the heels of like a lot of people like saying like AEW has a problem because their rosters aren't very diverse. They don't give a lot of women a lot of time in the ring, which are valid complaints. You would think that like the WWE might be like, oh.
You think WWE pays attention to criticism of other promotions?
That's fair.
They barely think of AEW as competition at all, if at all. But after the match, we see Edge being wheeled out on a stretcher, being loaded into an ambulance. Seth is interviewed by Kayla. Oh no, not Kayla. Sarah, I think her name is. And he says, like, he's not thinking straight. He's like stammering a lot. And he says, "My arm hurts. I don't know how I feel. I don't know how I'm supposed to feel. How do you feel?" "I don't feel anything at all." And I wonder if this is the start of his face turn.
I like that a lot, but I feel like it might just be him going absolutely fucking bananas.
But if he does, that would also be really good because it would help elevate his face turn. Like the deeper he gets into being a heel, the better his face turn's going to be. So then we go to Roman Reigns and the Bloodline backstage. Usos say to Roman, "We're the ones, right?" Roman says, "They want what we have. We run New York. We run WWE. We're not losing tonight." Usos say, "Our match is next. We got you." They leave. Roman turns to Paul Heyman and says, "Paul, I saved you. Why didn't you tell me Brock was at SummerSlam?" And before he can answer, we go to the ring for the Street Profits versus the Usos for the Smackdown Tag Team Championships.
So we start with Montes versus Jimmy. A hard dropkick to start us off. Montes gets lifted to the apron, but he manages to shove Jay. Avoids Jimmy just long enough for Jimmy to dive through the ropes, sending Taz ringside. We get a snap suplex to Jimmy from Montes before the newly legal Dawkins gets an open hand to the jaw. Jay gets in off that. Dawkins hits a dropkick to Jay and then a back elbow to Dawkins. Jimmy gets back in. They kind of do the thing where they hyperextend both legs. Jay gets back in. He goes for a drop or a leg drop, but Dawkins avoids it. He sends Jay over the top. Ford kicks him upside the head. Dawkins loads him out. Ford kicks Jimmy upside the head. Dawkins loads him out. Montez gets in. He cannonballs over the rope onto both Jimmy and Jay, and just in time for Roman to come out. And Roman looks less than thrilled about what's happening. There's a corkscrew neckbreaker in the ring to Jay. Montez and Jimmy want in. They get in. There's a crossbody to Jimmy and then a clothesline. Jay gets back in. He gets kicked in the stomach. Montez loses a shoe, throws it into the fucking crowd. Never gonna see that again.
Yeah, that shoe's gonna be sold. It's gonna make someone a lot of money.
Probably true. So Montez loses his shoe. He kicks Jimmy with the socked foot. There's a blockbuster. They start exchanging blows, as men often do, and then Dawkins gets in. He hits the anointment, and he hits the anointment into the blockbuster, which is, their tag team finisher. Jay kicks out. There's a hard super kick in the face from Jay to Dawkins, and there's the Usos splash, and it just doesn't work. And then there's step up insecurity to Dawkins does the match end with a win? I didn't write down anyone winning.
It was a DQ. Roman came in and beat up Montez.
Montez frog splashed onto Jay, and the ref started counting, and Roman said, "Well, fuck me."
Yeah. And then, after the match, the Bloodline stands in the ring, and suddenly the lights go out. And you hear... The lights are all red and everything, fog machines going up, and the demon is back. Finn, the Demon Balor, has returned, and he will be challenging Roman at Extreme Rules, not regular Finn Balor. And he looks great. The fucking tendrils, the face paint and everything looks so cool. I'm hoping they knock this out. And Finn could be the guy. He could be the guy to take it off Roman.
He could be.
But now that we got that out of the way, can we talk about something real quick? We kind of already touched on it with the women's matches. Remember last week we were supposed to find out who Naomi's opponent is? Remember that? Yeah, you remember. You remember.
Oh, I mean, you know what this is leading to, right?
Well, they had that promo. It was just posted straight to Twitter.
Yeah.
And I think what was mentioned in the promo was because Edge and Seth's match was so long, they had to cancel a women's match.
No.
It might not be true. It might just be, for the promo.
Yeah, I don't think that's true just because I'm trying to think of like the amount of time that was like that could have possibly been overused. I'm just not seeing it.
It would
Not
have. It was like a 35-minute match, and so I assume any women's match that would have happened would have been like a squash or a very short match or
right. I'm trying to
DQ.
like think of like a match that like would have been like worth our while anyways.
Naomi versus Tony Storm. Naomi versus
Look,
hmm.
no, what I mean is I'm not saying that there aren't matchups that are worth our time.
Hmm.
I'm not saying that like, well, why would we have women's matches if we're just gonna have shitty matches? But the thing is that like I'm gonna feel the same way at the end of the day with no women's matches as I would if like the only women's match I get is a 5 second squash match.
Right, you would want like a story match, right?
Yeah, or it doesn't even need to have a story. Just like a match that lasts like 10 minutes.
You know what match we could have gotten? We could have gotten Natty and Tamina versus Shotzi and Knox for the tag title. Like we should have gotten twice already. That's one match.
WWE is a pit of suffering.
It is. It really is. But yet here we are, because at the end of the day, we love the wrestlers, and we find a way to enjoy the product.
Yeah.
All right. So you want to talk about the bests of the night? I think this will be easy. So promo of the night. I know what I want to pick. Do you know what?
I know what I want to pick.
I have a feeling we don't have the same thing then.
Oh really?
Since you're talking so confidently about it, I have a feeling we're picking differently.
Okay.
I was gonna go with Roman and Brock to start the episode.
Yeah, I'm going with Seth.
Oh, Seth's whole interview.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean,
We may have just seen like a very long heel run end,
possibly.
or
Yeah.
get worse.
The
And by worse, I mean like more manic.
the only reason I wanted to pick Brock and Roman was because personally this is the first time you and I have heard Brock talk. And although he doesn't sound like how we expected him to sound, he's good at talking. Like he definitely did a really good job talking and delivering the promo. There's a reason why he's been in the business for so long. And I was surprised at how great he was. But yeah, I'll go with Seth. But that will be my runner-up. All right, so do you want to talk about what was that?
I said fair enough.
Okay. So do you want to talk about Wrestler of the Night?
Yeah.
I know who I'm picking. Do you know who you're picking?
No.
Really?
Yeah, I can't think off the top of my head. I also have a headache, so it can't help.
Well, I'm picking Seth.
Okay, so that was the first name that came to mind.
Mm-hmm. I mean, the way what looked like to be an intentional botch of that glam slam on the first time, and then the second time do it a lot better. That felt like a realistic progression from like doing a move, slipping up a little bit, but then getting it right the second time.
Yeah.
And then the way he just fucking nailed Edge's head with that super kick in the end.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, that was the first name that came to my mind. That was the only name that came to my mind.
Mm-hmm. I want Edge, or not Edge, Seth to fight everyone on the roster, on the Smackdown roster. There isn't a feud that he can make excellent. Unless, I don't know, he fought like both of the Usos, but I feel like that would also be fantastic. Alright. Match of the night?
Wait, real quick. Do you think that we've seen the last of Edge in WWE?
No, I don't, definitely not.
You don't think tonight was the end?
No. No, no, no. Edge, well, no. I think he's gonna come back at the draft, probably.
The giraffe.
Yeah, the giraffe. I don't know. Like the way Seth felt regretful after doing that would make it seem not worth it to have him come back immediately. Um, but at the same time, there's no way Edge is done. Because Edge can still go, he can still go full time. We might either see him on Raw, or he'll pop back up on Smackdown and Edge will be like, I thought I killed you. I don't know, something like that. But yeah, I don't think we've seen the end of Edge in WWE. Plus, they need somebody to combat CM Punk being in AEW. They need another full-time legend.
Yeah. I think, you know what? It's fine. I think Edge not being around is not going to be the end of the world.
Yeah.
If only for a little while, you know?
I mean, oh, you know what? I feel like Edge did this on purpose. I feel like Edge took those super kicks, took the stomp on purpose, because he knew that would be the only way to take this Seth down. Because the whole storyline was that Seth was becoming Edge in his early career, and maybe Edge knows that the only way to defeat this Seth is by having him win and succeed and regret it. So
Okay.
That's my little fantasy booking, so who knows?
I respect that.
Alright, so let's do match of the night. And before we get into match of the night, if you have a question for us, leave it in the chat now, and we'll get to it after the best of the night. Questions can be about anything at all. Wrestling, non-wrestling, whatever. WWE, AEW, etc. Alright, so matches of the night, starting off with a 4 out of 10. The 10 man tag team match. It was okay. It was fine. Yeah, it had some good moments. Trae Young being there was cool. But I feel like it didn't serve a greater purpose, and it wasn't too exciting. Yeah. Next up with a 6 out of 10. Street Profits versus the Usos. Would have been a lot higher if there hadn't been a DQ. And there would have actually been a clean finish. But, you know, this is WWE. What do you expect? They're not going to have a title switch on a weekly show. And then finally, my pick for match of the night, 7 out of 10, Edge versus Seth Rollins. Would have been higher had they not buried the spear. But actually, they technically did bury the pedigree, because Seth has used the pedigree in the past before. Like, this isn't his first time using it. When he was in the Authority, he would use it a lot. So yeah, I'm picking Edge versus Seth. It was an incredible match to wrap up an incredible story, and would not have wanted it any other way. Do you agree?
Concur.
Great. Alright, so do you want to answer some questions?
Yeah, I guess.
Okay. You don't sound
You
so
know what I thought was
confident.
interesting?
What?
Did you see the black splatters of paint on Mr. Demon Man?
Black splatters of paint. No.
It's just like a very small detail, but like what looks like an otherwise relatively normal design for him,
Mm-hmm.
the demon. There's like these like kind of messy black splatters around like on his arm and his side and his like torso and like shoulder. And I don't know, I just don't know what it means, but I feel like it means something.
I don't know.
And I hope somebody smarter than me can figure it out.
He might have been rushed painting.
No, like I wish I could show it to you like more directly, but you can kind of see it down. Where is my finger? Down like in this area.
I can't really see it.
There's an easier way to fucking do this, you know?
Mm-hmm.
There's an easier way.
I mean, it might mean something, but it could also just be an artistic choice from Finn. Maybe the demon is broken. The demon's hurting.
I'm sending you this picture.
Huh?
You this picture.
Okay.
You can see what I'm talking about. Because I'm not crazy.
Okay. Alright, so we'll do one from YouTube, one from Twitch, and then one from YouTube. We'll alternate. So Mylon has a question on YouTube. What kind of equipment do you guys use to podcast? Well, I've got my Audio Technica. Was it P48? Yeah, P48 with my Red Scarlet mixer and my Logitech webcam. That's really all I use. My computer. Liz, you used your MacBook.
And I've got a blue snowball microphone.
Yeah, which is handed down from me.
My half of the podcast is very technologically
Advanced.
I don't know about that.
Archaic.
Advanced is the opposite of what. Yeah, archaic is more. Not as efficient. How's that?
Mm-hmm. That explains why you're freezing a lot and why you use signs. I would see if she responded, but she froze. Alright, so Miriam asked in chat if Impact and WWE did a crossover event, what matchups would you want to see most? Christian and Edge, first of all.
Oh yeah. Give me gosh dang.
Ooh.
If Hikuleo's still there, give me that against Finn.
I was thinking Finn versus Moose.
Roman versus Moose. Spear versus spear. Oh, spear versus spear.
Or, let's see.
Where do I want your little husband to go?
AJ Styles versus Chris Sabin.
That'd be a cute little coming home present.
Yeah. Josh Alexander versus, oh shoot. Josh Alexander versus Johnny Gargano.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, I would choose. Maybe Josh Alexander versus Damian Priest. I think that'd be kind of cool.
Okay. Let's see. Let's do a tag team one. Good Brothers versus...
Profits.
Street Profits are good, but...
I'd love to see the Good Brothers versus Imperium just for like the sake of seeing it happen. It'd be fucking hilarious.
I
just want to know where I want Kaz to go.
I'm thinking Good Brothers versus GYV. Oh wait, no.
Okay.
No. Good Brothers versus RK Bro. That would be really good.
Yeah. Where do we want Kaz to go?
W. Morrissey.
Kaz? Kazarian.
Oh.
Kaz.
Thinking Big Kaz. Kazzy Kaz can fight, he'll fight, let's see. He'll fight Randy Orton.
Yeah, you know, they're both pretty scrappy. I can see that.
And
Now, who do you want Big Cass to fight?
Bobby Lashley.
All right, that's fair.
Um,
Imagine Bobby, Roman, Moose, spear versus spear versus spear.
throw
Three
Edge in
spears.
there. Throw Goldberg in there.
5 spears. The ring collapses.
Well, let's book a Legends match, but it's Goldberg versus Tommy Dreamer. We'll see who collapses first.
God.
All right. So, we have to book a women's match.
Wow. How come SmackDown's got us doing this now?
Yeah. Deonna Purrazzo versus Tony Storm.
Oh, Rhea.
Oh. Okay, Rhea will be good.
I was thinking Taylor Wilde and Nikki Cross would actually probably be a pretty good pairing.
Nikki Ash or Nikki Cross?
Nikki Ash, whatever.
All right. So Mylum has a question on YouTube. If you had to show one professional wrestling match to a non-fan to perhaps entice them into wrestling, what would the match be and why? Well, one easy one would be Walter and Ilya. We know how that went. Also, you showed me that match, and that got me into professional wrestling.
I showed you that match after we did the Mike Romies. You've never been into professional wrestling.
I thought we watched it before that.
No, that was last winter.
Unless I watched it on my own, maybe, or like clips of it on my own.
Again, it happened last winter.
Huh. Oh no, the match you showed me was Shawn Michaels versus Ric Flair. I forget where that was, but that's a great one to show.
If we're talking more modern matches, I don't know if this would work, but Britt Baker versus Thunder Rosa was pretty sick.
I feel like you shouldn't show that to somebody that wants to that's like thinking of getting into wrestling. I guess that's fair.
You kind of already have to be into wrestling.
Maybe it's got to be something without deep cuts. Like Seth and Edge has deep cuts. Let's see. Huh. Oh, an Ultimate X match. The most recent one.
That's fair. Oh god, what am I thinking of? Maybe, because you said Shawn Michaels, and now I'm thinking of Shawn Michaels. Maybe, and a lot of because of the feud that this is a part of. Shawn versus Undertaker was pretty sick.
Or Shawn versus Stone Cold.
God, I'm thinking of one Shawn Michaels match, and I cannot, like, for the life of me, figure it out. Shawn Michaels versus Undertaker was a banger.
Yeah.
I'll leave it at that.
Maybe, Cena versus Batista, last man standing match. That was great.
I cannot, for the life of me, figure it out. Oh, because he also fought Undertaker in Hell in a Cell, and that was a fucking mess. So maybe that.
Yeah.
I'm big on Shawn versus Undertaker. Basically, give me any iteration of like Shawn and Trips versus Undertaker and Kane. I'll take it.
Okay. That's
my bread and butter as far as wrestling goes. I'd probably just sit somebody down and be like, I'm going to show you one match, but have everything else queued.
Mm-hmm.
That way, once they're like, wow, that's sick, I'll be like, yeah, I've got like 15 more for you. Just sit right there.
My pick's probably the most recent Ultimate X match, or Kenny Omega versus Jungle Boy.
To be fair, the most recent Ultimate X match kind of got me more into Impact.
Yeah,
So
me
you
too.
can respect that.
Oh wait, no, not Kenny versus Jungle Boy. I want to do one Kenny match. Kenny versus no, not Ken. Actually, yeah, Kenny versus Mox. But like, stop, like, pause right before the explosion happens.
That's fair.
Or if it's someone that doesn't mind blood, the Young Bucks versus Lucha Bros.
Yeah. If they already expect that from wrestling, then like that's probably a good one to show.
Yeah, I want to watch that match back again. That was so good.
Yeah, no, that will actually probably always be one of my favorite matches just going forward.
Yeah,
That was a banger.
loved it. All right. So that's all the questions we have. Liz, would you like to close out the show?
Hi, I'm your friendly neighborhood host, Liz. I have a really bad headache. I've slept for 3 hours. Now I've got acid reflux. So if you enjoyed this podcast, thanks. If you didn't, alright. Tune in on Monday for Monday Night Raw.
Miriam said to
We talk
enjoy
about Monday Night Raw.
Miriam said to enjoy Ring of Honor.
Like
this
it or
weekend.
not.
Miriam said to enjoy Ring of Honor this weekend.
I'm saying it now, and I'm going to say it loudly. Bobby Fish will be there, and I'm going to cry.
Oh God.
He's my sweet boy.
Yeah.
Man, I guess.
You want to put that out there?
I love Bobby Fish. I will wear that loud and proud on my chest.
Okay. You know, we
No
all have
future
problematic faves. All right, so thank you all so much for watching. Follow and subscribe. If you're watching on YouTube, check out the live show, twitch.tv/pinfall podcast. If you're watching on Twitch and you want to catch up, our YouTube is the Pinfall Podcast. On Wednesday, we will be doing the continuation of our 2K20 Universe Mode, PCW versus SDW, Pepita Championship Wrestling versus Stardust Wrestling.
It definitely won't go as long as it did the other night, guys. I don't know what happened.
Yeah.
I don't know who I fucking, got hoaxed by.
But it will be on YouTube. I've managed to get it on YouTube this time around. Yay, only a little bit got muted on YouTube. Yeah. Thank you all so much for watching. Our Twitter is @Pinfall Podcast. I'm at the Mark Cameron. Liz is at Eliza Elaine23. And we'll see you Monday for Monday Night Raw.
Monday.